to me, idea of there is nothing after this life is the most powerful motivator to me personally. Because if there is nothing once I'm dead, I just want to do fucking everything today because I don't know about tomorrow. Uncertain, and that uncertainty is really, really important for me. Every night I think I contemplate on that because that motivates me not to get distracted tomorrow.
That's good. Very pragmatic.
So that's why I don't care if there is a next birth because I'm not going to remember my this birth anyway. So what's the point?
So it's the removal of things in order to get down to the essence of nothingness. So I kind of understand that from a Buddhist perspective, I think, where the goal is to strip away and to get down to nothingness because living in the now, in the moment, is of importance. But the goal is still something external, I guess, because it is you have to do this in this human journey because your spirituality, your spiritual enlightenment is going to come on the next level. You can achieve it here on Earth as a human, but you won't fully understand it until you transition through death from this human body and your spirit goes to the next level, and you reincarnate or you become more of an enlightened being. The disconnect for me with what you're saying, the essence of Hinduism is seeking to eliminate things that are distractions and be more spiritual in order to get to the nothingness is a tough pill to swallow because I don't want to be nothing. I don't want to disappear. And maybe that's ego, but also like it's the idea of spirituality and a spiritual level to this whole game, the idea of being connected to this divine consciousness that created the universe and is so intelligent and amazing and powerful and in everything, that I don't want to say that it's hopeful because it sounds then like I'm hoping for something better than right now. And it's not. It's just the idea of, well, I exist and I know I exist right now. And I can't imagine not existing or what that would be like or why that should motivate me to seek it. That's kind of terrifying.
Yeah. So let's try to, have a series of questions and that might help you.
Okay.
Where were you before you born?
I don't know because that's one of the things that we don't know. I mean, obviously, part of
and
me was in my mother, part of me was in my dad, right? And then the sperm and the egg came together and they created, they've shown that what happens when the sperm gets into the egg, then there's like a splash of light or magnetism or energy or something that happens right then. And some people will not agree with that, but like from what I've seen, like it's cool that like life is created, and then so that's where I came from.
Yes, but we still don't know what we were in our last birth. Like I don't know whether I was a dog or a buffalo. I have no idea.
But do you think that that's actually true? Because how would that happen if there's nothing after we die? That's where I'm not understanding.
Okay.
So do you believe in reincarnation then?
I don't believe in reincarnation. This is the only chance I have.
So it's just that you're just saying hypothetically, if you don't know that if you were a dog or if you were a king in your last life, you don't actually believe that we do have multiple lives.
Yeah, because if I don't know my past birth, then there is no certainty I can guarantee what will happen after me, or something might happen after my death, because I have no idea, right? Second thing, spirit. Where does it, like, what is the point of entry for that spirit? Like, where does it enter from?
Yeah, there's a lot of theories about that. And that's sort of one of the ideas of that explosion of light and energy is that's when the spirit is entering the human biological form. When the sperm meets the egg, then it creates this vehicle of the human body. And the vehicle it's sort of like his spirit is wearing this human flesh in order to have a human experience. And, it's like entering a character in a video game, or it's in order to learn.
So spirit, like Atman, we call in Hinduism, it's Atman. The concept of Atman is exactly to, again, give people something so that they don't, panic.
Okay.
Right? That is like, I believe in a supreme energy, like the energy at atom level, that can be called Atman probably, because it's same in anything. So I can accept that being an Atman or spirit, right? And to me, when I look from the scientific point of view, very, very scientific point of view, sperm and egg, they combined. They had everything already to create a life, right? They had DNA. They had enough protein to start the cell division and whatnot. And the cell division started because that's how we take birth, or any other living being with brain or without brain. It's just cell division. Nature does its thing, right? So at no point there was something came from outside. Everything was present in sperm and egg. So there is no spirit or Atman gets or comes inside the body of mother, and then same Atman or spirit leaves when you die. No, it is again brutally telling is a concept, because we are not capable of accepting the truth.
Nature is alive.
Nature is alive.
Perhaps
Yeah.
in a different way than us, but yeah, I do believe that if, and because of my belief that God is in everything and that there is a sort of divine consciousness that pervades every atom, like you're saying, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nature is, I mean, you could take that to an extreme. I'm sure I could be accused by certain religious people that, well, then you're going to say that the table is also alive. Well, if God is omnipresent, then that implies, it doesn't imply, it specifically says that God is omnipresent. Then yes, then God would be in every atom of this table.
In Hinduism, in scripture, it says everything that moves and doesn't move, I am in there. So
yeah, I believe that. I believe that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Because that just makes the most sense. Omnipresent means omnipresent. And I do believe in God being this all encompassing, like that energy that science hasn't been able to figure out. What holds the atom together? What is the smallest particle at the, in the core of everything?
So whatever, whatever remains, whatever science cannot explain, whatever our brain cannot explain, is sure we can say it's God. There is nothing wrong, because we need to give it a name, right?
A framework,
a framework. So sure, there is nothing wrong. It's just perspective, right? I call it nothingness, and you call it God. Both are same. God is nothingness. Nothingness is God. God is everywhere. So how we're going to, like, we are going to go in circles and going to come at the same point.
Right. But words. Okay. So this is really interesting, because I think we are like in the same point, but with different terminology for it. But words are important, right? Words are very important, and so nothing is hard to define for us. And maybe
it is impossible. It is impossible to define, right?
Right. So
agree.
And it's, I would say, on a linguistic level, saying that nothingness and God are the same, I struggle to accept that, because, well, nothingness is nothing, and something is something, and so God cannot be nothing, because God is something. Whatever this presence is, whatever this energy is, whatever this intelligence is, this spiritual, the spiritual life form and energy that holds the universe together and is constantly creating and evolving that universe and growing it, is something.
Yes.
In a linguistic manner of saying. And so how can that something also be nothing? Then you do end up going in a circle.
Yeah, it did. Big Bang. Big Bang was probably created out of nothing. So nothing can also create life. Nothing means a possibility to have something. Like, we can play with the words, and that's what has been happening. It's a game of wordplay, and that's why we are going to continue argue about that.
Well, I wouldn't consider this an argument. I think it's a fascinating conversation.
Positive argument. Yeah, positive. This is really fascinating and positive argument.
But trying to really understand. So I think that maybe is why there's confusion also, is because of the idea within different religions where things are defined in such opposite ways, or such different, unique ways. Okay, so let's set aside the definition of that then. Then I guess it makes a little bit more sense. So if I understand the perspective of being spiritual, then for you is not the Western atheist view of there is no God, so let's just be materialistic and live it up in this life because there's nothing after. You are saying, yes, there's nothing after this, but that means that I go back into being connected to that nothingness, which is divine consciousness, essentially. Is that right? In a way,
you can say that. Yeah, in a way you can say that. But to me, it is like having, like, to get to this idea of there is nothing after this life is the most powerful motivator to me personally. Because if there is nothing once I'm dead, I just want to do fucking everything today because I don't know about tomorrow. That means whatever I love, right? Simply, I love growing vegetables, which I started and I stopped, and I feel guilty about it. And I always constantly think that, oh no, could be tomorrow or could be day after tomorrow, 10 years after. So it constantly, in a way, motivating me to do everything that I want to ever do, truly I want to do from inside, right? It's
Yes.
not going to, it's going to push me away from unnecessary things. Like I have 2 legs, so I can ride bicycle. Fuck motorcycle. I'll sell it for some money and use that money for something that I like to do,
Right.
right? Because I am uncertain, and that uncertainty is really, really important for me. Every night I can contemplate on that because that motivates me not to get distracted tomorrow.
That's good. Very pragmatic.
So that's why I don't care if there is a next birth because I'm not going to remember my this birth anyway. So what's the point?
That's good advice, yeah. Because we can get so caught up in attempting to figure out the universe and eternity and all of these different spiritual
Yeah,
theories that we can also miss, even by doing that, we can also miss living in the present. And that is truly where whatever comes next, or if there is nothing next, that's the beauty of taking advantage of the now and the present and being
yeah,
present. So instead of being nostalgic about the past or having anxiety about the future, it's about living in the now, living in the present, and maximizing that. I love what you said about the things that come from within that you are really interested in. Those are the things that you want to pursue
mm-hmm.
on at this level as a
Yeah, yeah,
human. And so often, I mean, I am guilty of that as well. Not guilty of it, but like I unfortunately have done that many times. I'll set aside the thing that I really just feel called, that I want to do, that I love to do
mm-hmm.
something else. You know, so it's like an easy example is music.
Ah,
Okay, I'm a musician at my core, and that's the thing that probably on a, I don't know if I can say on a spiritual level is most fulfilling, but as a human, like I can get lost in that, and I'm fascinated with many aspects of life, but I can get lost in that, I think, on a more all-encompassing level than anything else in my life. And yet,
mm-hmm.
for the last, I don't even know how long now, time goes fast, the last 15 years or so, I have completely set that aside to pursue other
Yeah,
things that are, oh, well, I have to build this business, I have to do this, I have to these responsibilities. And it's like that just gets taken to the back burner. But if someone said you're going to die tomorrow, what are you going to do for the next 24 hours? I'd be like, give me a piano. Like
yeah,
that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go sit in nature, like, and put it out in nature because I love nature. And like, and yet if someone's, if that's truly the thing, then what am I doing? Like, why do I not touch the piano every day? Like, why have I not touched the piano for weeks or months or whatever? You know, it's like that, if that's something that calls me, why have you not gone out and planted vegetables and worked in the garden with your hands and seen the beauty of that seed turn into a seedling, into a plant, and then eventually
mm-hmm.
bear fruit, is a manner of saying, but bear vegetables? Why have you not done
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
You know, and I think that that's really at the crux of my search here with this too. Is I talk about modern society, but really it's just life as a human, and this is the
yeah,
epoch that we live in. And there's
yeah,
so many things that distract us from that calling, and it's like maybe true spirituality is having to go within, be introspective, be honest with oneself, and say, what is it that
yeah.
I, as me right now, truly
Mm-hmm.
love
Mm-hmm.
and get fulfillment
Exactly.
from? And in
Exactly.
then seeking that and doing that, being that, then you're connecting and you will learn the things that you're supposed to learn, whether there's a next or whether it's just now to connect with that, with
Yeah.
God or nothingness. It's
That
just a
that
phenomenal.
is absolutely like that is the purest definition of spirituality. It's not about God. It's not about whether spirit exists. It's not about whether I will be in heaven or hell. Nothing. It's right now what you are doing, and you're doing what you really love. That is actually the core of spirituality. Then you are spiritual. You don't need to believe in God to be spiritual. That's why I mentioned in the beginning that religion has nothing to do with spirituality. Spirituality is a state of mind where you are happy. It cannot be in the books. It cannot be in any religion books, or nobody can tell you what spirituality is. Definition is up to you. Then you are truly spiritual.
Hmm. And do you think that there is a way to ensure that you're truly being introspective and under and connecting with self and
No,
knowing?
there is no guarantee. Our mind
Sure.
is very good at deceiving its own. Like mind
Hmm.
can deceive self. But what
And so
we
many
have,
external influences, right?
yeah, mostly through external influences. Because when we give our mind a choice that I want to do thing, first thing our mind will do is pull the past and start taking like negative things, right? Like, oh, if I do this, then this will happen, that will happen. Oh, then we just put the idea, we just drop the idea.
Yeah.
So it is very, very hard to say when mind is telling you truth or mind is telling you lie. It's just a thinking mechanism. People do call something called intellect or intelligence, right? That helps you to define what is right and wrong. But again, that comes from external. So even though we say the spirituality is figuring out inside, it's actually coming from outside.
Yes.
So because no person without any exposure even can think. So the definition, yeah, again, the spirituality is very, misguided word. Everything comes from outside for human beings. Nothing generates within the mind. But we use those pointers to figure out whether it can be myself or is it me. Like questions like who am I or what am I doing here are also useless. Like I am a human being, as simple as that. What am I doing here? I was born here, so I'm here to live. What else can be? Like I'm here to dig some holes and plant some vegetables or talk to people or earn some money. What else? Like so there are many things we have made much, much more complex, and it's hard to unwind that.
Do you think that there are different purposes for different people? Like some people maybe are
Yeah,
called to be more of service to others. Some people are called to
yeah.
maybe develop things that can teach others. Some people are called to maybe inspire others, etc.
Yeah, definitely. So that it depends on multiple things. First thing is something that no one can tell. It's like your own nature. Nature is mysterious. Like, why am I just like this? I can't even tell.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's the first thing. You are just built up in a way that you are different from other. Second thing is your social environment, your family upbringing. That definitely does play a big role because society and family is writing on your clean slate, right? When you were kids, they started writing without knowing what they're writing. So second, the most important thing that influences is the family. DNA, like things are already built in DNA, some characteristics, some traits. So third, I can say DNA, which does play its role. So there are couple things, probably three important things that makes us what we feel we are, I think. So yeah,
Yeah, it's the nature nurture sort of that
yeah.
dichotomy, but also that it influences a lot of who you are and how you think and how you respond to the world and also how you respond to yourself because of those inputs that begin when you're born.
Yeah.
So if